Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Shed to House project. This weekend I'm going to be working on drywall. As you saw last weekend I got 20 sheets delivered into this building. We're putting 20 sheets into Alex's building, and I'm probably going to need another 10 to 15 sheets before it's all said and done. But I'm going to get started in this part this weekend. So I thought I would show you the tools that I think I'm going to need for my DIY drywall project. And also, I got a couple things in the mail from a subscriber that I want to show you. Since I'm doing drywall, I'll show you. It's coming up. But what I figured I needed, now, I put that video up. Bill commented on the video. He said you should invest in a drywall screw gun. And it was amazing because 10 minutes before I read that comment, I had been on Lowe's website and I bought a screw gun for drywall. I'll show you why you need one later. I'll show you why you have to have it. But the tools I'm going to be using to do all this, I'll show you real quick. I have a screw gun, a regular one. The corded drywall screw gun that I bought, I left at home. But Gail's coming out here tomorrow, she's going to bring it out to me. But I got the screw gun. I bought, this is 1/2 inch drywall I'm putting up. I bought 10 pounds of 1.25 inch coarse thread drywall screws. If I was putting up 5/8 drywall, like if I was doing the ceiling in drywall, I'd probably about 1 5/8. But these are going to work fine for the drywall in here. 1.25 inch coarse thread drywall screws. Yeah, say that twice. Utility knife. Need a utility knife. You need a tape measure. You need a chalk line. You need a pencil. You need a nail pouch. You need a hammer. You need a caulking gun. I bought 5 tubes of drywall adhesive. I have never used this stuff before. In doing my research and getting ready for this, I saw people were using drywall adhesive. And I'd never heard of that before. So I texted Bobby. I said, look, before you hang your rock, do you use drywall adhesive? And he said, yes. What that does, you know, you put it on every stud. It creates kind of a sound barrier. You know how when you got drywall you can hear a hollowness, especially on interior walls. This kind of eliminates part of that. And on the exterior walls it kind of helps act as a vapor barrier type thing, because it's completely sealed all the way around the sheet. And side benefits, it reduces the hell out of nail pop. And I'm sure you guys have seen this, where the nails or the screw heads kind of pop through the drywall. Well, one of the things that causes that, and it's really thinking about these kind of buildings, I could imagine it happening. The drywall, if it's not glued to the stud, right? Number one, these buildings flex. They do move. And that can cause a little separation of the drywall and the stud. And as the weather changes and temperatures change, these things will shrink as they dry out. So there's going to be a little gap in between the drywall and the studs, maybe in some places. I'm not saying every one, but that does happen. So you've got that little tiny bit of separation. Then you get a little flexing. Next thing you know, you've got these screw heads popping out. So that's why adhesive. Plus, you use about 50% less screws when you do that. I bought 10 pounds. I may only need 5 pounds or less. I don't know yet. But yeah, drywall adhesive, why not? And my drywall square. This is for my cutting. Gotta have that. But yeah, that's the basic tools. Now, I will not be using the screw gun to screw this drywall in. It's way too labor intensive. It takes too long. And you have to be very careful not to break the paper when you're putting the screw in. But you have to get it deep enough to give you a little dimple where the mud can cover it up. So it's so easy to be screwing that in and boom, it tears the paper. Well, now there's not, it's the paper that holds the drywall to the wall, not the gypsum inside. You know, it's the gypsum is sandwiched in between two pieces of paper, basically. We're building our houses out of paper. But if you start popping that paper, when you have broken all that paper, that gypsum behind it kind of crumbles, and you know, you get soft spots in the drywall. That's from that. That's from going too deep. And the gypsum, you break that paper, the gypsum will crumble in there, it'll swell up, you know, all kinds of bad things. So you definitely want to use a drywall screw gun. And if I had remembered to bring mine with me, I will show you what it is. But remember I said a subscriber sent me a couple gifts? Let me show you what he sent me. I'll be right back. Let me move this stuff out of the way. You see that? A cordless nail gun. Drywall screw gun. A cordless router tool. Rotozip they call them. For cutting around switch boxes and electrical outlets, you know. Just you put the drywall against there, zzz, done. Cutting around doors and windows, just zzz, done. I can't believe that. I have utility knives here because I cut everything out with utility knives. But Tom sent me these. He knows I have Craftsman tools that are V20, you know, those batteries. So that's what both of these take. This will make my life so much better. It's unbelievable. And I had told Gail, when I bought the corded screw gun, it's, you know, it's less expensive. I said, I wish I could get a cordless one just to start it. You know, get the sheet up there, get it in place. Then I can, because I don't want to be tripping over cords and everything when I'm trying to hang this stuff. But once it's up there and, you know, started, then I can go along and zip it all in with the corded nail gun. If that makes sense. But this thing, I haven't even looked at them yet. I'm so anxious to get to use these. Thank you again, Tom. Holy cow. All right. The gun. Instruction book. Oh. And a clip for the gun. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a drywall screw gun. This has like a clutch on it. And you put your screw on there. You set the depth. You put your screw on there. And you just drive it in. And that clutch around here will stop when it gets to the depth. And this will be set up to continuous run. It has a button on it that it will always run, and the clutch is not working, and you've got it running. You put your screw on it and just hit it. And then put the next screw on it, hit it, put the next screw on it, hit it. The quarter one works exactly the same way. And they're kind of, once you get it to where it's running permanent, you're just going down the line, you can kind of hold on to it like this and just hit it. So fast. And then every screw will be at the perfect depth for you to mud over it. It just takes it drywall installation to a whole new level. I can't wait to show you how these things work. But this thing's going to be perfect, because this is going to be so much easier when I'm trying to hold a board in place to put a screw on it and just hit the wall. Put a screw on it, hit the wall. I'm not going to be tripping over cords or anything. Now, I can't use it to do the whole wall because I only have 2 amp batteries. And this thing will be running continuously, so it's not going to last very long. The corded one that I bought will be perfect for going in and just finishing up all the screws. This is going to be perfect for putting it together. I love this. Man, this is the one I wanted. If I had a couple 4 amp batteries, I don't know, I might just use this for the whole thing, but okay, this is, open this up. I love getting gifts. It's got a couple bits and a collet. This is a rotozip, a router. It's also 20-volt batteries. And the idea is, see if I can do this real quick. You have this bit, and it's kind of like a drill bit, but it's a cutter, and the end of it's just a little bit bigger, so that, and it has a depth gauge that you can set the depth that you want. So the idea is you put your drywall up against the wall, right? You see there's a switch box there. Let me get, you got a switch box there. You mark where it is. Your drywall's already up against the wall. You screw it in a couple places, but let it stick out for this. So you got the box there. You plunge this in, take it over to the side so you know where the side begins. Pull it out, stick it back in on the outside, and just zip all the way around it. That's all you have to do, and then pull that out. And it's the perfect spot for the switch, or the receptacle boxes and switches and ceiling lights and everything. And instead of trying to measure and do all this cutting with the utility knife, just the board is up against the wall and you just plunge it and go around. You'll get to see how this works too. But I just wanted to show it off, and again, thank Tom. And he also sent me a box or a package of, I think 8 of the bits, because they're just 1/8 bits. I'll probably break a couple learning how to use it, but he sent me a pack of 8 of the bits, the rotozip, and the cordless drywall screw gun. Absolutely perfect, because he had emailed me and asked me about my Craftsman stuff, if it was all 20 volt. I said, yeah. Because, you know, I got screw guns, I got circular saw, the whole kits. I have bunches of them. And I have probably 8 or 9 of the batteries. So, and it's a lot cheaper to buy the tools without the batteries. And like I said, if they're only 2 amp hour batteries, that's what you get with the tool most times. If I had a couple of 4 amp hour batteries, then I think I could use this and not even use, I could take the corded one back. But the corded one was cheaper than the 4 amp hour batteries. I'll put it that way. So I'll stick with the corded version. But yeah, that's going to be, I think, what I need for doing all my drywall. Then, I mean, this obviously doesn't include the taping and floating or anything. But I have a lot of drywall to do for a DIY project. I mean, I got an entire house to do all the drywall in. So these are going to speed it up exponentially. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, welcome back to the channel. And remember to like, share, subscribe. If you think of something I'm not thinking about that I'm going to need, you know, by all means leave a comment. If I don't have something that I'm going to have, I'd rather know about it now before I start, instead of, oh shit, you know, I got sheets up and now I realize I got to have something else. I got to stop, go to Lowe's or wherever to get what I need. But I think this pretty much covers, you know, drywall installation is pretty labor intensive, but it's not, you know, overly complicated if you wanted to do it yourself. You certainly can. I will be. You know, I'm going to run my sheets vertically, start at the top, and then do the bottom sheet. So that's about it, folks. Appreciate y'all hanging out with Tom. Thank you again, bud. These are awesome. I can't believe how perfect that was. I really wanted them. Thank you, bud. I'm out. Peace out, everybody.